Hey everybody, we're HM5,
Hey.
and we're back at the recording place
Yes, with our amazing
with our
cups, mugs.
And today,
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank the movies on what we feel personally is our favorite lineup of the MCU. We're doing, however, Avengers separately, so we'll do the bulk of the movies by themselves and then Avengers in their own category, just because we feel like those kind of deserve to be offset from that group.
because they have more people
Because it
involved.
contains everyone, and they're kind of their own little series amongst the entire grand scheme. So let's go ahead and we're going to rank them. So we're starting with the lowest one first.
This one.
That one.
This one is actually the Hulk, and it was terrible. But this one's not part of that franchise. It is a placeholder because the one movie that we have ranked last,
Captain Marvel is
Captain
actually
Marvel,
what we
isn't
ranked
out on
last
video yet.
during this recording.
To us, it just felt like it was a filler movie. It was kind of shoehorned in because, like, they just were like, "Oh, at the end of Avengers, we'll introduce Captain Marvel, and then she'll have to be a big role in the next
Later
one."
things. So yeah, it felt like, I mean, it was a good movie, but it just was very generic for the most part.
Yeah, I felt it was very generic.
Think about the entire plot and the way the movie played out.
Yeah.
So next though.
Next, Edward Norton's Hulk.
Ooh, that one.
Actually, I thought this one. This was between this and the next ranking one. This movie kind of ruined the Hulk getting his own movies because Edward Norton apparently took a lot of control over it. It was when Marvel Studios was kind of small. I
So,
like this one.
A lot of behind the scenes stuff that kind of caused
Yeah.
the way it played out.
I like this one. I'm not quite sure why we did it last, but yeah. Thor: Dark World is the
Yes.
next one. This one was boring.
Yeah,
I almost fell asleep when I watched it in theater. When
I
I bought it on Blu-ray, I fell asleep again.
particularly I didn't mind this one. I did like a lot of the action stuff, and a lot of the, I guess, action scenes, I should say, were really good. I think this kind of started the whole like Loki thing fake dying a lot though,
Yeah.
which is kind of a bit of a frustrating thing. But yeah, and overall arc, it's not the best out there, especially between the Thor movies in general too. But
Yeah, to me that movie was boring. It made me not want to see the third one
But it's
in theater.
bigger, better, and epic according to
Yeah.
the back.
Next one, Captain America, first
First
Avenger. And the reason why we have it there, I believe, is what is the reason?
So for me, it's kind of like Thor: The Dark World. This one wasn't too bad. I enjoyed the World War II setting because I'm a huge fan of history
Thing I
overall. But
didn't
it still was like generic, run of the
generic, and they took all the military tropes of like how to be a good soldier,
Yeah.
like dive on the grenade, climb up instead of climbing up the flagpole, pull the pin out of it, and stuff like that. They took
Yeah.
like anything like military story wise that you hear about good soldiers doing or smart soldiers, and like they're just like, yeah, Captain America did it.
But at the same time, it was cool watching him become a superhuman, which was really fascinating and pretty cool to watch too. And the Red Skull was awesome, but pretty mainstream.
Next one, Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was entertaining. It just felt like filler.
Yeah.
There's not really much bad to say about it. It just...
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool stuff. I mean, all the movies, Ant-Man, to me, is kind of more comedic ones, and it's really enjoyable that way. But compared to the first one, it didn't have that same feeling. It kind of just felt like, but, you know, it was alright. It introduced the microverse, which is cool, too. But that's about it.
Next one. The first Thor movie. You can't really see
The lighting's
the lighting's weird. The first Thor movie. So the thing with that one is just I don't know if it holds up very well. I haven't watched it more recently, but like it didn't really have.
I think for the first saga, I guess it was great. I mean, introducing Thor, his powers, his kind of like fish out of water thing on Earth was great. But I mean, as you progress through the timeline and the events going on, like Adam said, it just doesn't hold up anymore.
It just gets pushed back.
Yeah,
It's not bad, but next one, Iron Man 2. This movie was good, but it also like was kind of dumb. Like he's got whips, electric whips,
Whiplash.
and, Whiplash, and
which I liked him as a villain. I just feel like he wasn't utilized enough. Like I would have loved to have seen more of him. And then I think some of the other things that kind of got me out of it was the other weapons manufacturer guy that was like versing him just didn't seem like But I mean it's still a pretty good movie. Introduction to War Machine's great. Like actually introduction to him doing stuff is pretty good.
Threw me off because they had somebody else playing War Machine though.
Yes.
So,
Terrence Howard left after the first
for Don
one.
Cheadle. Threw me off, and same with like the Hulk movies. That's what used to throw me off. Like at the end of some movies, there'd be like the sequence with Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck is? Oh yeah, he's the Hulk now. The next on our list, it might be controversial, having it higher ranked than a lot of these other ones. Iron Man 3. I thought it was good. I liked the Tony Hawk survival story. I know a lot of people were pissed off at the Mandarin plot twist.
Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk, yeah. Tony Stark.
But yeah, I mean, I'm actually one of those people that I didn't really get into the Mandarin twist. It's still, for me, it didn't really take away that much, though. I did really like how the movie played out, how he pretty much lost everything and had to fight back, and I mean, a lot of it was great. So, I mean, I think it's good.
Next one up, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. About this point in our movie selection, we had a hard time picking the order. This one was good and entertaining and everything. Like they all are pretty. They're all pretty good. This one is just it was just kind of filler. And the thing that I disliked, well, it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie, but like the fact that like they introduce Adam Warlock at the very end credit scenes. And he has nothing to do with the Avengers Infinity War Endgame, so...
We could always see in Guardians 3, who knows? But, I mean, I did like the relationship with Yondu and...
Peter.
Yeah, and Peter being kind of like a dad. And I mean, everything was pretty neat, and finding out his, like, special capability he had from the first one. But, yeah, it definitely does not top the first one, so...
Next up, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Whoa.
This one, I did not see in theater, I don't think.
I don't
know if you did either. But it was really entertaining. It was a good Marvel introduction to Spider-Man. And it was way better than the last couple Spider-Man movies we got. So it definitely bumped his cred up.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Tom Holland does a great job as Spider-Man. And I really liked seeing, what's his face play?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. I liked him coming in and playing Vulture. That was great.
Yep.
So this movie was good.
Yes. Next up, the movie that started it all, Iron Man. The first one. It's a great way to start out the Marvel movies when you're having a marathon, as we all do.
This would be a very long one.
Yeah. I think somebody like theaters were doing that before Endgame, and it's like over 40 hours.
Dang,
it's a full work week of watching all these movies. But yeah, Iron Man. It's it's the classic,
origin story.
And
I mean,
everybody.
It's fantastic. There's really nothing else to say about it. It's a really good movie, and this one I think even still would hold up a little bit better than Thor, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can watch it and not really get too disheveled about the order, but
next one up, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I love this movie, to be honest.
I thought the story behind it too. It could have been a standalone movie, not just like a Marvel movie, but if it's like any wizard movie, it would have been fucking sweet.
Oh yeah,
I would have loved that shit.
So I think this movie was great. I mean, it's just not higher on our list due to
the other movies being slightly better.
Yeah, the other movies being slightly better, but I mean, I love seeing Doctor Strange. I was looking forward to this one when I heard it was announced. And yeah, just the entire Wizarding World thing is awesome.
And like we said, starting with Spider-Man Homecoming, we kind of had a hard time picking out the top ones. And they might actually be slightly out of order than what what we agree with anyway, too. So next one up is Ant-Man. It was a good introduction story, and it was just funny. Who's the one guy that tells all the stories? It's really hilarious.
Michael Pena. Yeah, he is just a charm to have in
Yeah.
those movies. And I think I really liked the entire how they handled the shrinking world. Like everything was so fantastic. And honestly the villain I thought was pretty good too. I mean, even for just being like a kind of not overwhelming villain, but he was still really good. And yeah, that movie's great.
So that's our number 5 for uh, what is it? Non-combined.
Oh, non-Avenger ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one up, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's got a really hilarious intro, and it's just builds up, and it's just nonstop fun.
Yeah, I think the fact it's just a great Misfits team movie and getting to meet everybody, and then how just all their stories just collide and mesh together, and then they become a team.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Yep.
It was really well done.
Next one up, Black Panther. It's just got a great King Return type story, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I really like the fact it was just one of those straight up the throne gets taken away, he has to reclaim it. But just the relationship between Killmonger and Black Panther and his reasons for doing what he's doing and stuff just makes it that much more kind of like, I guess, deep and emotional too. I know Adam liked the movie a lot more than I did, but I think it still is a very good movie.
The only thing I disliked about the movie was the CGI Panther fights at the end.
Yeah, some of the CGI I feel like wasn't quite as good as some of the other movies, and it could just have to do with the tone and
Could
the
be
scenes.
that, or like I think they hired a different company. But either way, the story was really good, and yeah, I loved it. Next up are our 1 and 2s for this, and they could go either way. But we're going with Thor Ragnarok for number 2. This movie was just fun.
Yeah. The way it started out was great, and meeting Valkyrie later on, and I think even Hela was a great villain.
My only downside to this movie was all of Thor's friends got killed off, and they don't really mention it at all.
I do feel like they could have expanded more, having them be more involved with what was going on.
And he could have been a little bit more emotional about what was going on too.
But I think it was a fun ride. I mean, him and Loki teaming up with, and then the bantering between Hulk and Thor in the arena was great.
Jeff Goldblum is amazing.
Oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum was fantastic too. So this was good. This was definitely top tier. So obviously.
Yep. And our number 1 actually still has the sticker on it. Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah, this one to me. And this is where Adam and I were going back and forth. Like, this movie, just something about it, every part of the movie was great. The beginning scene with Captain America on the ship.
Tense.
Yeah, the introduction to the Winter Soldier was awesome.
Great spy film.
Yeah,
too,
and even the action, like the hand-to-hand
thriller.
Combat scenes were phenomenal.
The amount of work that, I can't remember Bucky's name, his real name, but the amount of, like, practice and knife work that he does in the movie. For the movie is just amazing too. We've watched a lot of behind the scenes videos of I can't remember the name of the style of the knife fighting that he does for it, but it's all amazing.
Yeah, this movie is just, I mean, it was great. So that's why we put it number 1. But that's our lineup for just the regular movies. We'll jump into the Avengers next and let you guys know the ranking of those.
Unfortunately, Andy hasn't seen Endgame yet.
I have not.
He did not see it opening weekend like I did, and everybody else in America did. So, fuck you, Andy. So, we're not going to include that one in here because he didn't see it. So, starting with, I guess it'll be the top 4. 4 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. This movie, to me, I mean, it had a lot of cool moments in it. But like it seemed like a filler movie. Like it just seemed like a way to kind of get out of Avengers.
There was parts of it like Vision being introduced was awesome. Seeing the Hulkbuster suit was great. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just didn't feel out of that oomph that the other ones had.
Yes.
It was still a fun ride, but it's kind of about where it stops. So
Next up, this one's not officially Avengers movie, but it pretty much is. Captain America: Civil War. If you notice, it wasn't in our other top movies, but this one has all the Avengers in it, so we included it in this list instead. So, but the reason why we have it here is it was entertaining and we liked it. It had a good introduction to Spider-Man.
oh
It's a
yeah,
good way to bring him in. Um,
I think for me, some of it too is, I mean, it had really great moments with some of the shots were actually straight from like the frames of the comics with Iron Man shooting Captain America's shield, which is cool. I think the thing that kind of got me was the
don't let him fool you. He's just looking at the back of the book.
well, the
Yeah.
reasonings for like the was it Sokovia Accords.
Yeah.
I just feel like some of their stances on it were thin. They didn't really feel like really into it, and then so like the split was kind of like I'm not getting behind it too good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I mean, I could really understand like Captain America wanted to protect Bucky, and then like the fights were really awesome. So you can't go wrong with that at all either. But
Next up, Avengers: Infinity War. For our top two, they could have actually went either way. So where they would fit in the actual ranking, who knows? But this one had everybody in it and everything, and half of them died.
yeah.
And
I mean, the stakes were high for that one.
Yeah.
And Thanos is great getting to see him finally. I know originally I didn't like it at first because I felt really overwhelmed with everything going on in theaters.
there's a lot going
but
on.
watching it a second and third time, you really start to appreciate everything and how it's put together.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean,
The way they build up all these other 20 some odd movies and build it into this and then again into Endgame, I mean, they pulled it off.
yeah. So we have it ranked as one of the top twos, but like Adam said, it could go either or.
Yeah, it could go
really.
either or. And then the first Avengers movie, it just felt like pulling the team together for the first time, just seeing that. It's what, the first generation, phase one all built into.
Yeah.
And it pulled it off. Is it better than Infinity War and Endgame? Maybe
I mean,
not.
there's different ways to argue that because, I mean, yeah, they're both Avengers movies, but they actually had a lot of different things going on. I mean, I think for me, finally to get to see them together was like the payoff that Infinity War has after 10 years.
Yeah.
And after watching the first saga lead up to that, I mean, it just felt great seeing it, and it flowed really well. I think the reason for me it's higher is because there's just less going on. I mean, the smooth...
There's like 6 characters
yeah,
or 7 to worry
there's like
about.
a quarter of the characters. So, I mean, it just kind of like feels a lot more smoother.
You didn't have to watch 20 other films to get to it. You're just like, oh, that's Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... Yeah, you didn't even have to see the other ones to like know what was really going on.
So...
If you know about the comic book characters a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, I think First Avengers, that still stands the test of time. I mean, it's great until we see what comes out in the next like 5 to 10 years. But so yeah, that's our ranking of the movies.
Hopefully you guys agree or disagree. You can post it in the comments what you think. Give us a like if you
agree or
if you agree.
Just liked hearing our opinions.
And if you disagree, you can also click the like button.
And actually, let us know what you think too. If you disagree with us or our list in general, let us know and give us a reason of why, or maybe it's something you might have put in place of another one. And but yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch
See
you
you guys later
in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.